Hey, how's it going? I just want to continue off from where I left off last time, talking about food, water, chemicals. Those are the three that I've outlined that need to change in a person's life to be able to reach the 500 club. With the water, I mentioned that you just have to just love your water. That's it. Just respect it, right? Wake it up, respect it. Be nice to it. Don't say mean things around it. It sounds strange to say, right? It's just like, don't be mean around water. But you don't know what water does and the power that it holds. It's just like, here, let me give you this partial. So for example, it's like talking into a microphone, right? Because it remembers everything. It's like, if you ever want to know what history is, it's just drink water. It's like it becomes part of you, right? And so you can almost go to a person's country and drink their water, and you'll kind of become like them almost, because it's like it becomes part of it, and you kind of just retain part of that by drinking their water, because that's their memory. But it's in this biosphere, it doesn't leave, right? It's almost like there's so many ways that nature is trying to capture moments. It's almost like it's always taking little pictures all the time. It's like Big Brother, the ultimate Big Brother. Just like, you can't get away from it, right? You can't at all. But water, it's even more powerful, because it's just a force to be reckoned with, and it's very sensitive. You would think that water would just be tough and be like, oh, thunder, be like, no, not at all. It's very sensitive. It's just like it cries easily. It'll cry like if you're mean around it, it'll start crying. And so, but when you start eating that emotion from that water, right? It's like, and then all of a sudden it goes in you. It doesn't mean to hurt you, and all of a sudden you become just this little emotional bitch. It's just like, why are you crying? I don't know. It's just like, oh, it's right. It's just like these things can be transferred so easily. It's like you can say something to someone just right with your words, and people don't realize that the power that they have, and they just use it on each other. It's just like, wow. It's like Zeus is fighting with Aphrodite right now, right? It's just kind of like, it's just like, wow. They don't see what the power that they have. And so it's just, right? And this water, just watch what you say around this water, because it carries out duties as well too, and these duties have to be carried out because you said them. Say for example, let's say with your words, okay? These are your words. These are not mine. Let's make that clear. You have a fight with your sister, and you just say, I just wish you'd just die. That, and then there's, you're by water, it's by a glass of water type deal. And all of a sudden, nature heard it, right? It's like you amplified it. And you gotta wonder, did someone hear that? It's like when a tree falls in the forest, does anyone hear it? It's kind of like, did anyone hear that? Because there's times when you're not alone and you don't realize it. There's times when you're in so much danger and you don't realize it. You just think, oh, whatever. It's just like, man, if you see past, and it's crazy. People don't realize that they're in so much danger all the time because of their words that they've put themselves into. They attract that energy sometimes. When you have that hate around you, it attracts hate. And so all of a sudden you just have these hateful people around you. You're just kind of like, how did I get here? It's just like, you call for it. Remember that one time you were yelling out, blah, 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 right? It's like, and then you called for it yourself. It's like, oh, right? Maybe you're in your coffin. I don't know. Maybe you're on your deathbed. I don't know, right? Eventually, it's like you'll figure out to be like, wow. And and humans don't realize their voice, right? And it's crazy. So that's why with water, you have to watch. You have to really watch that thing. It's very important. because you say, well, there's just this regiment, right? It's just like it's probably one because it's trying to help you. Because if you're mean to it, it's not going to help you at all. So you almost have to change your attitude a lot. It's just an attitude change, 20-fold. But the cool part about that is when you change the food that you put in, it's easy to be happy. It's not hard at all. The funny thing though is it's not even you causing yourself to be unhappy. It's like you wake up and you're really trying to have a good day, and all of a sudden something will set you off, right? It's kind of like, but that's not even your fault, but you don't know that. It's just like you have these outside influences that are being influenced, right? And the funny part is it's that influence comes from the food, right? And it's because of that food that you're ingesting into your body. And so, say for instance, if you have a negative frequency, it's just like those negative frequencies as well too, right? But your thoughts and your words, all those in combination, it's like it's a scary picture sometimes. You don't realize that people will inflict their own deaths upon themselves just by their words. So with the water, it's just the main thing is just there's 3 things that I put on there. You see those in the bottom there on the screen, but in the description. And then you have your food, right? And so it's just one. There's 3 of them there as well, right? This is always shop only from a farmer's market. So that way, if you do that, you don't have to question if it has GMO or not. It's like you don't have to ask those stupid questions, right? Just like, who cares? Just shop there. You don't have to ask those questions. Or go to a Farmer Joe and set up with the local place, right, where there's food. It's like, it's easy to do. Just get off system. And so, but especially the food, you have to make sure that maybe even grow your own food. It's like you can start that this year, right? Start a garden this year. It's like, be a different person. It's like, that's what I'm asking you to do, is to just be that different person. Because here's why. I'm just gonna take a little sidestep here for a bit. Because it's a new age, right? So this revelations age is what we call it. That's what it's called. It's about revealing everything that wasn't revealed before. Before it was a church age. It was just like that day of lies, right? It's just all lies. And so it's just kind of like people don't even know what the truth is. It's kind of like, yeah, that's good, because you make sure you're sick. So, but anyway, as revelations age, and people don't realize, it's kind of like it's an opportunity to almost, there's a reset button almost, right? Because everybody has an opportunity to hear that they have an opportunity. But once they've heard that they have an opportunity, it's like you have to act on it. So this is the act on the thing, right? And so really that's where you have to make that choice. And it's kind of like, that's kind of cool. Right now, I've got to move forward. And so now it's just moving forward and acting on it. And it's like, okay, what am I going to do and where am I going to go? It's just kind of like, well, May 1st. And there's a reason why I picked May 1st and not, say, April 15th or April 25th or da-da-da, you know what I mean? And the reason for that is a time to allow your brain and allow yourself to get ready, right? Because there's a lot of changes you got to make. So, okay, well, and you got to do it in steps. And I kind of want you to, I don't know, pick one of them and do them for 1 week, do the next one for next week or whatever until May 1st, and ease your body into it. Because doing it all at once is a shock to your body, right? So you got to ease into it, because you're going to be sick. You're going to get really sick because your body is used to being sick. Isn't that weird? Your body is used to being sick. It's not used to being healthy. All of a sudden, you start changing your body and you start getting healthy. It's just like you shock it. It's like you shock it into reality. It's like it's used to living in that state of unnaturalness, right? And people think it's natural. It's just like, no, it's not natural to be you. It's like, it's not natural to do that, right? It's not natural at all. And so, and now people have to make that change. So with this May 1st, it's like there's 3 things on there that I've mentioned, right? And there's one is I'll put them on as I go on, and I'll mention them, and then I'll put them on later. One is just your voice. It's like you have to have your voice, and you just got to watch how you use it, right? That's how you speak, and with that voice is like you use your authority, because your authority with your voice is kind of like the way that you shape your world. There's a book, if you when I kind of read it before May 1st. It's like, it's in how to be a god, really. It's just how to be a god, how to shape your own world, and how to map out your own future, right? And it's a book by Napoleon Hill. I think it's called The Art of Success or something. The Secret to Success. But it's Napoleon Hill. And that he went and interviewed 100 of the greatest business people of his time, right? And they were pretty great. So check out the list. And he asked them these questions. He asked them all the same questions. It's kind of like, what makes you so great? What did you do? How did you do it? Right? But with this thing is they actually outline the laws of the universe, is what it should be called. Laws of the universe. So these questions is how the universe works. So it works by the voice of a man, right? I know this is the part where women will be like, what about me? It works only on the voice of a man. So a woman, if she marries her husband, they become one voice, right? Like how the Bible works, blah, blah, blah. So, but anyway. So this man, he has the voice, right? This is his authority. And so he's able to shape his own world in his biosphere. It's like, this is like that, right? In the Bible it says things, it's like, oh, you'll have authority over the animals, because the animals don't have a voice. If they did, man, they would be not living in this world they have now. They would be saying, let there be no pollution, let there be no humans. They would get rid of you. They didn't have a voice. So if they looked at the human and says, you have the voice and you don't use it, you idiot, right? That's what they'd say if they could talk. And they'd probably think it all the time. Think like, you're a bonehead, you're a god, you don't even fucking know it, right? Then you're a bitch. You're a bitch in the biosphere. So anyway, so these people don't realize that they have a voice. But you have to use it. But you have to also think like a king. Always think in your mind that I'm a king. How could a person who thinks in their mind that they're a king, how can they feel small, right? How can they feel little, smaller than what they should be? A person should feel like they're the number one of the world. It's like, and they are, right? Because who cares what the other person's doing? It's all about you. It's about you. The person is just like, I'm the best. It's okay to say that, right? It's okay to look at yourself and say like, man, I like the way I look. It's okay to do that. Sometimes people think like, oh, you're just being autistic. It's just like, I don't really care. You know what I mean? It's just kind of just like, yeah, and just walk away. That person will just be like, okay then, right? It's like, who cares? Who cares what your neighbor's doing, right? Before you didn't even want to love them. So it's about that journey, right? This regiment, and the fourth one, it'll be the voice. So finding yourself, because if you just look at yourself right now, right, your day to day, and count how many times you had no voice. You're like, I could have said something there, 1, 2, 3, 4. And after a while, you just be like, huh, right? You can even have 5 and then 10 and 15 and have markers and give them to yourself. And you're gonna be like, I'm a wuss, I'm a bitch. I'm a this, you know what I mean? It's like, after a while, once you actually think about it, you have to recognize it first though, right? You can't really try to change anything unless you recognize it. So it's almost like you're putting a face to a problem. It's like, I see you now, you motherfucker, right? It's like, I see what you do. And so you kind of, once you recognize it, then you kind of can identify it, right? And change it. So, and that carries into like other things as well too, right? In other lives and other ideas. Have a good day.